So right here, we have the Oukitel WP26, I believe. Yes, WP26. And in today's video, we're going to be giving it a full review, talking about a couple things, and taking a look. Now, this one doesn't have any fancy wrap or anything, like most Oukitel phones. We'll take a look, crack this open. As you can see here, we agree with this. Now, this one of the main selling points, of course, is this massive screen on the back, or a massive array of LEDs on the back. I believe this one has a 48 megapixel real camera, 16 megapixel front camera, bunch of goodies there, Face ID, all the standard, and a large battery to suit as well. Let's see, anything fancy you see on here? Not anything too much. Your standard array of like power buttons, SIM trays. Include also you get a charging cable, which this isn't the one I can use, so also a little surprised that this is it's not USB-C. And again, this is a more cheaper phone. But yeah, that's overall the whole array there. Rubber padding, screens on the back, large LCD. So let's start, and I'll get this all set up, and then we'll start the photo review and checking it out from there. So I've been using this phone for a bit. One of the main things I especially want to talk about is the main feature that's advertised, or at least marketed on here, which is this really massive screen. So if I turn on this camping light, you can see this is absolutely massive. And actually, I thought this was going to be more like a gimmick, and I understand for the market that's going to be buying such a rugged phone, this is actually not too bad. I definitely do notice that the video quality on this is not great, which is, as I said, a little frustrating. This camera quality is probably more on the lower end of what we've normally seen. Battery life for 10,000 milliamp hours. This is actually pretty solid, and I also want to give credit because one of my biggest complaints with Oukitel in the past has been that they make their phones pretty thick. Basically, this is thick, bulky, yes, but it is not cumbersome to the point where I think that I would feel uncomfortable having this over my head, etc. And they've done a really good job of integrating the battery a lot better, in my opinion. Also, the screen works very nice. The cameras, at least, are usable. And this makes this pretty much a solid device that I'd feel comfortable taking on trips if I really needed a camping light, a flashlight, because I think it's at least usable. It's all around, and everything considered the price, it at least seems like a decent buy. Also, I'm going to start including something else in my videos, something you should be aware of. I've had some rough run-ins with Doogee, which is a very similar company that does that makes very similar rugged phones. Basically, the difference between Doogee and Oukitel, at least working with them, is night and day. If you're considering choosing a phone from either of these companies, but I would just caution you with going with Doogee, just because of how they ended up treating, at least me, in terms of constantly bait and switching, kind of harassing, bribing me to take videos down, etc. So yeah, just be aware that if you go through and you purchase, both these companies I've gotten free products from. Both these companies, actually Oukitel, I've had probably worse criticism of the phones themselves, and they still send me phones. I give credit to Oukitel for at least making improvements to their previous phones and listening to a lot of what we have to say. And at least they're really great to work with, and they send their phones, we make videos on them, and I have really no issue, and the videos do really well. But my experience with Doogee is just entirely different. The phones may be great, the hardware may be great, but really, when it comes down to the end of the day, I prefer working with Oukitel a whole lot more than I prefer working with Doogee. And I don't know how that reflects to you as the customer, but just maybe listening to how they treat the people that are supposed to be advertising their products, should tell you maybe if you make a decision off of that. I just want to do a comparison real quick between these two phones. These phones are very similar price. This is the Doogee V30 and the Oukitel WP26. So this is the flashlight. As you can see, that's very bright, very bright. Then we turn the flashlight on here. As you can see, this flashlight is still very bright, but also not anywhere close to that. You're not going to get that close. That's enough to light up a room. Does really good, and I actually really enjoy that. Between these two phones, this has 108 megapixels. This has the 48 or whatever. The thing I'll tell you about this is you're really not going to get great pictures out of this, but you're also stuck with a much smaller camera, a 48 megapixel versus 108. And, that's very similar to the iPhone. You'll see in all the different comparisons and stuff, just how well this captures detail versus other phones. The iPhone, of course, has a better smoothing algorithm. This is just, I want to say, a more unmodified, less algorithm-based picture. Overall build construction and quality is pretty nice. There's a lot of metal aluminum on the back here, and the camera bumps and stuff are recessed with basically protection, rubber protection, so it comes out of the box having nice pads, etc. It's definitely a rugged phone that I think, out of everything that I've seen so far, I really do think that this does a good job in capturing the rugged phone experience. The camera isn't great, the video isn't great, but then again, you also have to keep in mind the price too. This is a $300 phone, and for all that it comes with, it's something that you're going to be able to make calls with. It's at least somewhat modern. It's got the latest Android on it. It's got a long-lasting battery, and it's really going to do just enough that you need for that price range. One of the only downsides that I will give credit to is this is 4G, not 5G. So you do lack that speed. But to be honest with you, if you're out in areas probably where you won't be having a lot of cell service, you probably will have limited service as it is. So the battery life is probably more important to you than anything else really would be. Pretty solid phone. Thank you for watching. Check out the review channel for other cool related tech products and the main channel for other scam investigation videos. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.